friends. We'll just give it a few minutes till 1 o'clock and let a couple of people hopefully pop on. See if I can find myself on here. Oh, there it is. Okay, I think it's pretty close to 1 o'clock. Close enough. So today I'm going to do a demo of my layout that I completed recently. So this is using up some of my old paper from my stash, so quite old. I forget when this one was around. It's called Hooligans, and it's definitely an older paper because it's different in the way that they make the papers now. So anyway, I'm going to show you, this is the Make It From Your Heart Volume 5. This is one of the how-to books. I absolutely love these books, and I've been recently using this one a lot more lately, and the patterns are so much fun, and they're actually pretty easy. It doesn't use a ton of paper, as you can see here. So I will just show you the layout, and yes, I am duplicating it because I have a thing where I make the same layout for both of the boys. So I don't always do them identical, but sometimes I do. And for this one, I decided that I was just going to duplicate it because I had lots of this paper left over and I had pretty much all the same embellishments. So this is what the finished layout looks like. And I'm going to set that aside. I have all of my pieces already pre-cut, but as you saw, there's some splatter on there. So I am going to use this, and I'm going to show you how I do this. So this is Shimmer Brush. It's the avocado. I have a little sticky label on there because originally they were not coming with the colors printed on them, and it got a little bit confusing as to what color was what. So now I noticed I got a new one, and they actually have printed the color right on the pen, which is much more helpful. So let's see if I can do this without making too much of a mess. So I keep my close to my heart shipping boxes because they're perfect for this, and they are my splatter box. So I'm going to do one page at a time, and it'll be a little bit easier this time for me because I know now exactly where I want the splatter to be, whereas the first time I wasn't 100% sure exactly how that was going to work out, but just pulling this one back, I want to make sure that I have some down here and some up there. And I don't want to have too much in the middle here because I don't want that title to be obscured, I guess you would say, or have too much on it. Now, I also have taken some of my craft mat. This is the one that things don't stick on, and you see it's just a little piece because I have a couple of them and I just wanted a small piece sometimes, so I cut one of them, and it's very handy to have just a little piece because sometimes it's easier to squirt this out and then flick it. So we're going to see. I've done this a couple of different ways before. So you do usually, to do this anyway, you need to give it a bit of a squeeze and get the ink kind of flowing, but I don't want to do it too much because I don't want to waste it. So I'm going to just see how that goes. But I did find that just kind of, you can flick so you can see that that works. I'm going to give it a bit more of a squeeze. So this is a little bit of trial and error. Oh, there we go. See, it's easier just to do that. But I find I like that look with some of the bigger dots, and then you can do this flicking to get some of the smaller ones in there. So that's good. I like that. That actually worked out better than my original, I think. Okay, and then I'm just gonna pull that out. Try not to tilt it, because with the bigger splots, it'll run, which is an effect, but not one that I want on this project. Okay, and then I'm gonna get my next one. And it's already got a little bit of a splatter on it from somewhere. So I am going to flip it this way, because then that smudge will be covered up. Get that out of the way. Okay, so then I'm just gonna pick some of that up again and do some dripping. I can kind of feel it going a little bit all over. So like I said, you got to be careful. I usually pull it away from my area that I'm working, and I do it somewhere else where it's not as big of a deal. So I think that's good. Let me just pick that up a little bit more. Okay, that's good. Okay, so that's done. So I can put this lid back on there, and then I don't need that again. So that's done. Oh, look, here, I'll show you. This is the one that so I haven't opened it yet. I just got it. So see how it's printed right on there. Rosemary. The only thing that I realized was it would have been better if they'd printed it on this side, because once you take the cap off, oh, it's not set yet. There's no color in there. The color's all on the lid. So it would be much better to have that here, or both. I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. Make it work. Okay, take that out, and then I can just get my box out of the way. So you don't need that again. And grab a paper towel, which I have handy right here under my desk. Just give that a wipe. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so that's all done. So the good thing about this is it does dry pretty quickly. I'm not gonna like stick my fingers on it, but I know with my first one I was able to kind of do the work on it fairly quickly. Now that one's a little bit heavy, so I'm not too keen on the way that that worked, but maybe that will be covered up with an embellishment. So what I've actually done, I don't know if you noticed on here, but this is the pattern, and then there's two examples. So this is the original pattern, and then they flipped it over. So that's what's really nice about this, is it gives you like ideas and shows you that you don't have to necessarily do it exactly the same as the pattern, but by taking that pattern and flipping it over, it's pretty cool. So that's what I did, and I'm just going to start with this middle piece here. Just thought those looked a little bit different color there for a minute. And I'm going to stick those down first. And so maybe what I'll do is I will set this one out of the way, just so I have a little bit more work surface here. I don't want to, normally I would just work on top of the paper, but like I said, I don't want to make a mess of that shimmer brush, because that would not be good. So this piece of paper, if you want to duplicate, this piece of paper is 4.5 by 12 inches. Because it's on this side, it doesn't need to be the full 12, but I decided just to leave the 12 and not bother to trim it off, because it would normally be 4.5 by 9 inches. And it is positioned 3 inches from the top of the page. So I'm going to turn this, and I'm just going to use my little grid that I have here. There we go. Line that up, and I'm going to go 3 inches. So I always do this. I like those lines better, but then it makes it harder to count. Okay, there we go. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. So this is where I'm going. So 3 inches from the top. Yes, just got to make sure, because I am reversing it. So the top is the bottom and the bottom is the top. These moved. I'm gonna have to start with this side. Sometimes the cardstock is cut a smidgen more than 12 inches, and maybe you can see that there. I'm not off of the paper. And then if you cut your other piece in the other direction, it's a little tiny bit short. And I do not look like I'm square here, so I'm gonna try something else. Sorry folks, just wanna get this nice the first time. And I seem to be having a bit of an issue. So let's do it this way. Just wanna make sure that first piece gets on there, and then after that it's much easier. 1, 2, 3 inches right there. Okay. On the wrong side again. There we go. How's that look? Still looks like things are a little bit crooked. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to do the other side at the same time, because I find it's easier to do that. And I bet you I'm going to run out of adhesive. It's getting close to the end. Okay, so now for this second piece, I just like to line these up together. And then that gives me my nice mark. It's easier to put my pieces down first, and then this piece is going to go over here on the edge. And it's got these funny little critters on it. So I'm going to, I think, put it that way. I still have some upside down, but it doesn't really matter. So this is when I mentioned to you about this being older paper. So this is not the heavier, oh, there it goes, cardstock weight, like the papers that they make now. But this was when I first started with Close to My Heart. This is what the papers were like. And they are still double-sided, but as you can see, the pattern is the same on the back side. It's just monotone. And they used to have the logo printed on it because they didn't have the zip strips. So you would always have to be creative in making sure, if you were using the back, that you didn't end up with that on your project. It's a little tiny bit short there, but I can trim that after. Okay, and I'm just gonna quickly replace this. You'll see how quick and easy this is. My lovely friend Allison made me this little handy dandy doohickey, which I've been using for a very long time. I haven't replaced it yet. I've managed to keep that same one this whole time. Okay. So I get my refills from Tape Jungle out of the States, and I placed a massive order a while ago and got a ton of it. Whoops. Anyway, it lasts quite a long time when you do it that way. Oh, I totally did that wrong. Sorry, folks. That's why it's not working there. Tend to do that. Put it on the wrong way quite often. But once you get it on right, it works really easily. It's got a little bit of adhesive on the end there, which just holds it for you. Put this back on. That back on. Boom. Done. Got a little bit of a mess there. Whoops. Back to it. Oh, I didn't mention to you. So this piece of paper on this pattern on the side is 3 by 12. And then we've got, let's see, got these 1/2 inch by 12 inch strips that go along the top and the bottom. And I wonder if I'm missing a piece. I did not cut one piece, so I will do that first. I want to do that first. And this one, I just need to double check because I think if I remember correctly, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Yes, so I need to put my zip strip. I'm going to put another little strip there. So there's 1/2 inch strip. So it's almost like they kind of, I don't know. This is 3, but then I'm going to put a strip on top of it. So technically this could have been 2.5 and then a 1/2 inch strip. So I'm just going to cut that real quick. So I just need a piece of that. I don't know. I don't want to trust that. That's the color, the pattern that I need. It's just that it's very small, so it's going to be hard to cut. Apparently I don't have any other piece of that color. Guess I'm using that then. Okay, so let's cut that. Not sure how I missed that when I was doing my prep there. And it's going to be tough to get a 1/2 inch strip. So I'm going to show you what I do when I have tiny pieces of paper that are really hard to cut. Yes, my kid gave me back my ruler. That's good. Okay, so you need your cutting mat, and I don't like to cut into my beautiful Versamats because they're so pretty. So I use this one. We're going to go here. So I'm just going to line this up. And then I have my nice metal ruler with my cork back that stops it from slipping. And then I can line that up, the 1/2 inch mark. There we go. Use my little X-Acto knife. There we go. So if I had a different style trimmer, it might be easier. But when you get to that small of a piece, it gets pretty difficult and things end up crooked or not the right size or whatever. So I find that is just the easiest way to cut when it's a smaller piece of paper. And hopefully it is actually big enough. It should be. Here we go. Go back over here where the tape was removed. Okay. Now this is the tricky part because I need to be a 1/2 inch. There. Right. Oh. There. Okay, and then I can put my top and bottom strips down. So far, pretty simple layout, like I said. Lots of 1/2 inch pieces. And they just kind of frame it. It makes it really nice. Yeah, I'll have to trim that off a little bit. And I like to try and line them up if I can. That one's probably the best. Because it's got a tiny little text on it there. So I'm just trying to line that up. It looks like a stripe from a distance there, but it's actually, oh, it didn't focus. I'll show you again. It's actually text. I'll do it this way. You see that? It says ha 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 ha. That's better. Come on. Oops. So on my original layout, I actually cut one of the stickers from the sticker sheet, but I don't think I have that one again to do that with, so I might just leave that out. I will show you what I'm talking about once I get these down. A little bit short, but that's okay. I'm just going to trim the top of that piece off when I'm done. Easy thing to do. I do that all the time. Rather than worrying about it too much, you just put it down like that and then just trim off that little piece. Makes it easier. Oh, hey Liz, glad you could pop in. Don't know if you remember this old paper, but I'm guessing that you probably do. This is Hooligans. There we go. So that kind of makes it a little bit off, but I'm not going to worry about that. So I'm just putting this, I have a guillotine, Tim Holtz guillotine trimmer, which I love. And it makes it really easy to cut off tiny bits like that. I'm going to just trim off this too, a little bit on the end there. And it's really not noticeable when once you put it in your page protector. That teeny tiny bit kind of just makes it slide in a bit easier. So it's not really, there we go, a big deal. Okay, so there we have the base of the layout. And now really all I need to do is embellish. Kind of, but there's a little bit of a finicky bit putting these little strips on. But this is, so see, this is the little piece that I was mentioning. So let me look. Oh no, I do still have that. I'll show you what this was. So there was a border on here. And this is actually the leftover from the border. So this one I used somewhere else. Right? I didn't use it here. So I actually took this sticker, see, and I cut the center out. And I used those two pieces on some other layout somewhere. And then I used these extra pieces too. So it's kind of funny. So I'm going to see if I can cut that so that I can add it again on there, because I like that little detail that it gives. So here, I'll just pull my trimmer in. I have a very small desk space, so I have to keep shifting things around to make room. They said what we did an acrylic card with this. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so this is going to be tight. Going to be really tight. Okay, let's just give it a try. That's okay. Okay, where did I put the other sticker sheet? So this one, I guess it won't matter, then that'll just stick. I gotta get it kind of lined up the same. I want it to match. It was easier on the other side because I just pulled it off. Oh, it just seems too tight. Okay, gonna go for it. There we go. Yeah, I'm a little bit tighter there. That's okay. We'll make it work. Okay, so now I can put this one on here. So whenever I'm doing something like this with a long strip, I just pull the backing back at the beginning rather than uncovering the whole thing and then having to fight with it to not stick where I don't want it to. There, that worked okay. There's a little bit of color there from the other stickers, but it's not that big of a deal. And then this one, it's going to be right there. Let's see if I can trim a little bit more of that off of there. It's going to be hard because it's such a tiny piece. Oh, it almost looks like it's crooked. Okay, well, let's give it a try and see what happens. I think I got it. Here we go. Okay, so now I'll just add that here. That worked well. Oops. Little piece there, but that's okay. And then I can just trim that. I probably won't use that little piece for anything, but you never know. There we go. Okay. Now, I'm just going to lay these out. How I had them. So this one and this one. This one. Is that right? Do it the same way. There we go, like that. Green. Green and purple and purple. There we go. Okay, so I think what I'm actually going to do though is put my pictures down next. Because then that kind of gives me my line going this way. And let's see if I remember, we'll put them in the same order as we did on the other layout. This, and this. Yes, okay. So I'll probably have to trim off a photo as well at the end because I tend to cut on the bigger side when I'm cutting my pictures. So like when you're on your trimmer, right, you've got the thickness of the line. So mine tend to always hang over when I have like multiples in a row like this. But that's not a big deal because it's easy to fix. Because I can easily just cut a tiny piece off of that. There, see what I mean? Hangs over. That's an easy fix, no problem. Okay, and then here, I'm also going to show you, I'm going to use a flip flap on this layout, and I will show you how I attach it, and then also how I put it in the memory protector. That's going to be a little bit of a problem there. My pictures are not the best quality. I was playing around with different options for photos, and I thought I'd try something different. These are actually from Staples. They're like same day printing, I think it is. So the quality is really not very nice. But I'm like, oh well, I'm just gonna go with it. Okay, so this spot here is actually in the pattern a journal spot, but I had lots of pictures, so I wanted to make sure that I had, oh, that's short. I had enough room for all the pictures. Oh, those are both short. But that's okay. So I'm just going to cut this. So So these are 3x4. They're supposed to be, but as you can see, they're a little bit short and I didn't want to cut into another piece of paper. So I'm just using what I had, and it's going to be covered up in the middle, so it doesn't matter. So like I said, instead of putting a journaling spot, I'm just taking some of this pattern paper and then I'm adding this photo because I really wanted to include this photo, but it was the wrong format. So I needed to get it to fit there properly. And then I'll show you. So with the flip flap, I did the same thing here. Because again, it was a very square photo. And if I blew it up, I couldn't get everything in one picture. So I just did it that way and have the extra piece of paper there. So I did see another idea that you can do, same idea kind of thing, is you could actually print out, if you can edit your photo, you can have a white box with your photo there and you can actually type in journaling under it, which is kind of what I was thinking when I was doing this, but oh, I didn't mean to stick that down on the top. So that's where my flip flap goes. So this is the one that goes on the bottom. I always mix these up, right? This is the one I want on the top, so you don't want to stick that one down. And then these ones go underneath. So I have to be careful not to stick the top of this one down as well. And then that one I can trim straight. Yeah, okay. Now I have to find the flip flap that I don't remember if I got out or not. I was trying to get everything out so it would all be together. But I don't think I actually, I don't know. Anyway, I don't see a flip flap handy there, so I'll just grab another one. So these are 3x4 flip flaps. They come in both portrait and landscape. I considered the landscape one, but it's just too much difficulty in doing that with this type of layout. So I really needed this one. So this is what I do when I'm doing a flip flap. First of all, I'm going to attach this pattern paper to the back of this photo, and I'm going to do the bottom this time, I think. So there's my flip flap. It's going to go this way, right? So that's how you make sure, if you need to know what direction it's going in. So if I had two photos, right, I want to make sure, which I do, but you want to make sure that your photo is going to be the right way up. I'd like to stick these together for a couple of reasons. One, this is short, so it's going to help me to get the right dimension on here. But two, because then it just slides in much easier and doesn't get like shifted so that you don't see the back of the other photo or paper. And then now I can just scooch this right up to the top there. Go. So that can go right in. So before I attach my flip flaps, I always put my photo in it, and I try and make sure that it's nice and snug in here where it's going to sit, because that's what I'm actually using to line it up on here. Okay, so give me 1 second while I just got to take my sweater off. The heat has come on and now I'm having a hot flash. Doesn't take much to have a hot flash. Okay. So now I just want to take this little piece off. So I just want to get it started. And then I'm going to crease it so that it stays sticking out the top of the flip flap. And because I didn't stick this down yet, so I stuck down the bottom but not the top. So now I can slide that over, right? So that sticky is going to stick under my photo, so you're not really going to see it. And then I just got to get my head in here and get my photo lined up. And then I'm going to push this down. Now this is very slippery, so you need to be gentle. So I'm stuck down here but not here, so this can slide really easily and is done that to me many times. So I'm just kind of holding it everywhere possible. Now it's down, and I didn't make sure that it was tucked under this other one. Whoops, throwing my papers everywhere. So I just got to pull that up that corner a little bit, slide it under there. So not a big deal. There, and there's my flip-flap on. And then once we finish adding everything else, then I'll show you how I put it into the memory protector, into the page, right? Okay. So now that those are on, it's much easier to line up my little pieces, and they kind of coordinate with what is above. That way, that one, that one. Was it this one? Oh no, I do want it that way, because that one I want to turn around. And then I just used this orange because they just did it a little bit differently, because you didn't want, well, that's not right either. Oh, I mixed that up. There, like this. There, that's why. I could have put a green there. I don't know why. It's got this that matches that or something. Anyway, so these little pieces, these are 3 by a 1/4 of an inch. So 3 by a 1/4 of an inch, and then the circles are 1 1/4, I believe, right? Where's my pattern? I lost my pattern. The circles are, sorry, 2 1/4. 2 1/4 inch circles. So now they just need to be stuck down, and there's really not dimensions, just kind of eyeballing. They're in the center of this. So I mean, you could measure it if you really felt the need to, but I don't. But I'm going to do this one first. I'm really liking the layouts in these books. They're a lot of fun. And first, when I first got the book, I was like, I don't know if I like them. But now that I've done a few of them, I really do like them. So, pretty quick to do this part now. That looks good. I could use my T-square to make that straight, but it's okay. And now this one, I will start with the outside, I think. I don't know, doesn't matter which way I put this, but just playing around with it. I want to at least keep them all the same. Do it this way. And lovely hair. Dog hair gets everywhere. I think I'm in the middle there. Pretty close. And then, like, I think what's so fun about this is the layout itself is kind of, you know, not really that spectacular. I mean, it's pretty simple. But it's just the fun embellishments that you can do on this one. And that's why I think it really worked really well with this paper, was the embellishments just were really nice. I just realized that's not, I'll have to trim that a little bit more. Okay, so again, you'll notice in the samples, this is the one that I'm doing, but they've put these little strips butted up against, but the pattern actually shows them apart. So I wanted to do the space. I like it better. I think maybe they just did that on that bottom one because of to have room to do it. Okay, so we're going to start with this one, and then I'm going to use my Tombow dots because they're so narrow. A little scrap here. Come on. Oh, paper will not come out of the folder. Okay, so get the ends there. I can clean that up after. Okay, so I'm just gonna like eyeball it there. It's a little bit hard because that end doesn't sit down against the paper. Okay, so we're gonna use the other roller. We're gonna do it this way. There's always many ways to do things. This way I got my dimension right. So it's supposed to be 1/4 of an inch. So there we go. And I should have glued these all up because it's easier if they're ready to go. And then less likely that my ruler will keep shifting on me. Oops. I need this one first. Okay, there we go. Stayed? Yeah. And then again, I'm just making sure I'm lined up with the photos, which so far, so good. I'll probably have to trim a bit at the end. I'll use my adhesive remover to get rid of the little bit of extra glue that sits there. But they're lining up nice because that's the way that I did the photos, and so they're the same. Oh, that one's totally off. Not sure what happened there. That one didn't line up very well at all. That's better. There, I think. Okay. There we go. And the other side. Okay, so one is purple, one is orange. Make sure I do it on the right side. Okay, so orange is first. Nope, we're going to do purple first because I started on that side. Okay, sorry. Get my head in there and get lined up properly. That is not right. Purple first. Oh, that one's very crooked. There we go. That's better. That's moving around all over the place, that ruler. I find it's always a little bit difficult because it's just the thickness of the paper itself makes it hard when they're so tight together like that. But I did a much better job of cutting them than I did on the first layout. It's hard to get a nice even cut with such a tiny thin piece, eh? Okay, let's just cut this stuff off. That out of the way. Okay, so all my pieces are down, and now I just have to add my embellishments. Oh, see, Liz, she was asking about where I get my photos done. So like I said, these ones I was testing. Not good, thrilled with them. I used to get my photos done all the time at Costco. Not happy with their change. They obviously changed their machine, and the quality kind of went downhill. And now that you can't get them in store, they're really not very helpful. So anyway, so we switched. I switched and I tried blacks, and blacks is okay. Their quality is decent, but what I was finding when I was trimming the photos was they didn't seem to be square. So when I print my photos, I edit them all in Photoshop, right? And so this is, and then I have to cut them out. So when I would put them in my trimmer, they were crooked. And I don't think it was the trimmer. But anyway, so then I thought, well, hey, somebody mentioned Henry's. And I know my dad used to use Henry's all the time. Henry's always had very good quality. So that's where these ones came from. They're definitely really good quality. Oh, I didn't finish saying, the other thing with blacks was their 4x6s were not 6. So when I was putting pictures onto a layout that I had already done, the 6-inch would be off. And then my mat would be off. And then it was just driving me crazy. So the Henrys are much better. I don't think they're crooked. I've had a couple of issues, but it could be my trimmer more so than anything. And the quality is great. The only problem was that they took forever. Like forever. It was over a month. So they were apparently backlogged at Christmas. And that's why, and they do cost a fair bit more, but the quality is nice. I probably will just go back to blacks. They have them on sale a lot, and so that's always, of course, good. So I'm just gonna start my embellishment. So I'm getting my sticker out, and I do want to pop it up on some foam. So I'm gonna grab my my little sticky thing here. What is this? My powder. Anyway, I'm just going to do it off screen because it's very messy. So I just hold it over my garbage can and I just, that's great. And I'm just tapping it onto here. And so the reason I'm doing that is it takes most of the sticky away. Look, messy. So then I can put my foam dots on there. And then once it's squished into my album, the bits that don't have foam will not stick to my page and they'll stay 3-dimensional. So just gonna put, these are the leftover foam from the shakers. I love them. It's like a little bonus. They're a nice thickness. They're not thin, but they're not thick. And they're a decent size for a lot of things too. So you can see they're fitting on here quite nicely. If I'm on screen, wasn't paying attention, sorry. Should be good. And then one more here. There we go. So that's good. Put those back. Okay, so my title, let me just look back. So there. Okay, so I just want to make sure that I'm doing what I planned. So I've got these little guys. These are the embellishments that came with this kit. They're so cute. They're felt and they're adhesive backed. So I've spread them around on the layout. I want to find a kind of this tall guy, I think. Because where am I going to put? I've got one there and then one there and one there. So I don't want purple on purple. So then this guy needs to go here. So he'll go there. And then the other is the green one. So I just got to decide. He's pretty big. This guy's tall. So which one looks best where? I think he might look cute there though. This guy feels too big there. I don't know. What do you think, Liz? Are you still there? This guy looks really small there. Yeah, I think I need to use this guy. So we're just gonna put him there. Does he look okay with that? Maybe we'll just shift him over so that's not right on top of his head. Oh, there, that's good. There we go. Uh-oh. I don't want to cover up that little guy, so I think I'll put him right Oh, come on. They're very sticky, these things. There we go. That should be fine. Okay, so those are the bigger ones. That's a nice little release sheet. I might keep that. Those are handy sometimes. Okay. And then what did I do with that guy? I think that was actually a paper cutout. I have all these other stickers too. I was maybe going to use one of those, but I didn't. So I didn't. And I like this guy the way that I did that. So I'm going to grab this little pumpkin and he's going to go up here. So I'm going to get my powder again. I want him to pop up. So let's see in there. You have wonky angles on your layouts, do you, Liz? Oh, there it is. Foam tape. Put it away, and then I can't find it because it's put away. Whoops. Oh. Don't like that coming off of there. Get back on there. Okay, so this little guy. So this is, like I said earlier, this is the part that's kind of fun. Of course, I did all the work on the first one, so you don't need to, watch me trying to decide what to do, because there was a lot of time that I spent just kind of playing around with the different pieces here and there to see what looked best. Do I have that little I think I maybe created one layout with this paper. So I have a lot of it left. Yeah, that's cute. Put the little moon there again. And then the star. What's that? This little star here. And that needs a little pop on it. And there's a little one. Is that going to be big enough? Or too big, I mean? I have lots of options. Oh, it's a little bit big. Can you see it? We'll snip it off maybe. I have a ton of different kinds of foam, squares and tape, and everywhere I go and I see it, I get it just because maybe it's going to be good. This is not one of my favorites. I think this is the one that's really hard to get the backing off. It's working actually not too bad on that one. And then this goes up here. Go like that. There we go. And what other stickers did I have? I didn't glue down my title yet because I think that's a creepy looking thing, isn't it? Yeah, not too keen on that one. Okay, I want to show you this fun paper. Came in here. Let's see what I can do here. So this was one of the papers, and as you can see, I've cut lots of little things out of it. And one of the things that I cut out was a little monster face that I put on the side of that, but there is not anything like that. What I might do is I might just cut off that sticker, because I got two of them anyway, and I don't see really using a lot more of this, so why not? So I think I might do that. Let's see what other embellishments I need still. I'm gonna do another pumpkin. Where are my pumpkins? There they are. So this guy, I think it is. The guy goes here. About there, and then this. So this is a speech bubble, which I don't want. it to be. So I'm just going to cut that off, and then you wouldn't know that it was a speech bubble. And get rid of the sticky on it. This is much better. This is my second one because my first one, the stitching was coming apart and I was just getting frustrated with it. This one is definitely comes out a lot faster, the powder. Okay. And this little guy is going to sit just on top of that little pumpkin. So like right there, looks good. Make sure I get straight. It's a little bit too much on top of him. There. Okay. That's the seam. Got it all right? Yep. Okay. Now, just to finish this one off, so I think I can go ahead and stick that down, and then I'll just cut that sticker. Almost done. This is my last Halloween layout. This was the last year that the boys actually went out trick-or-treating, and they're not going to be doing that again, I don't think. Other than Nick did actually trick-or-treat at the campground this past year, but probably that's going to go in a mini album about camping as opposed to a Halloween layout. Okay, there. And then there's little detail at the bottom here. So this circle, excuse me, this circle is a 1 3/4 circle, and then you just trim off the little piece of it to make it 1 3/8. So what would that be? Right about there. Good enough. So I'm just trimming a tiny piece off of that because that's going to sit at the bottom. But I need a little tiny strip of that orange, which I don't know if I want to use. This is pretty thick. I have this piece left still, but yeah, it's a touch thicker than I would like. So I think that's big enough. We'll just trim it down a bit. Whatever, I can make that work. Because I don't know if I actually used the same size as what it called for, or if I changed it up, because it calls for a piece that is, where is it? 1/2 by 3. Yep, let's try that then. Keep losing my completed picture here. There we go. And that just goes over here. Yes, I like the size of that. Okay. Put some adhesive on that. Stick that puppy down. Okay, and then my little circle here. And then I have another little pumpkin left. One more pumpkin here. Where is he? There he is. Come on. Okay, gotta get rid of the sticky again. Pop him up. Ooh, messy. need, yes, okay. This should fit. It's a little bit big, so I'm gonna just do this. And then I need a dot. These are a lot of fun. These are the first ones like this I bought. I've not used them before. And they're okay because they're tiny and then you don't have to cut things up to make them that small, but they're a little bit of work too. Sometimes. There. Oh, where did I put that? Oops. Oh, come on. Sticky, sticky. I gotta try and get this off. Come on. I like to have nails on my thumbs, but they always break on me. I'm not very good at keeping my nails in good shape. Okay, this guy's gonna go over here, and then I'm gonna do a little fussy cutting with the paper. Okay, that was all the stickers. Oh, come on, get back in there. Okay, so now my little piece of paper here. Let's see what we can cut out of here. Okay, we want something up there. What did I just see? Treat. Oh, where did that other thing come from? Oh, that other one came from a different paper pack. I just remembered that. I have no idea where that is right now. Okay, so normally I really like things to be nice and straight, but a little bit too much work, so I've just been cutting these out with my scissors. It's easier. There's not a lot of color. Oh, that one might work. It's a different shape, but it's the same word even. It's not very straight. Fix that up a tiny bit there. There we go. Okay, that one. Oh, they're both the same shape. I don't like that. That one's purple. These ones just aren't very. Let's do this one. Maybe that was the one that I initially saw. Do the wild thing there too. Oh, it's purple though, so that doesn't really work, does it? I mean, it could. It's purple too. Lots of purple ones in here. Anyway, I'm not gonna waste my time or your time watching me cut out little squares. They're just little squares that are gonna get popped up there. And then the layout's gonna look just exactly the same as this. So there we go. And then, as promised, I'm going to show you how to put this in the page protector. So let's just move some of this stuff out of the way. Okay. So you need a few things in order to do this. You need a sticky cutting mat that will fit inside of your page protector. And you need a hole punch. And you need to make sure that you put it in your page protector the right way. Because believe me, I've made that mistake many times. This way. Yes, this is the way. Okay. So you start by putting your layout into the page protector so that you can measure it. I'm just going to get this how-to book out of the way. And get some of this stuff out of the way too. Okay, so raw little drawer. This is my hole punch, and it is a old close to my heart one. I love it. It is called a rock and roll one. I think that's what they called it. Something like that. Because you don't need the hammer, right? I have the old ones where you need the hammer to hammer it in, which they're fine, but this one's easier. Oh, hey Cindy, I'm glad you could pop on for a bit. Almost done. Okay, so what I'm doing is, this is my rub-on tool that I've had forever. That's for Letraset. Anyway, you just need something to mark the corner of the flip flap that's inside. So hopefully you can kind of see what I'm doing there. So I'm just pushing on it, and then that leaves an indent. And then I'm going to pull this back out again. Okay, and now I have my page protector here, and I'm going to take this cutting mat and put it inside. And I can see my little dots there, and they're not always the easiest to see, but if you get on the right angle, you can see them. I'm going to place this circle on there, and we'll do this. So if you don't have this one, you get out the hammer and you just hammer away until you get through that page protector. Okay, and then I'm going to go to my other one and do the same thing. You don't have to do the punch, but I prefer to do it because it gives just the nice finish to it, as opposed to just the straight line, which is easy to lose track of. I don't know. I just like it. Okay, and maybe it might rip, and this is to prevent it from ripping. I always do this, so I don't know if it might rip. But anyway, I just find it easier to line up and to do it. And then I'm going to take my X-Acto knife, and important key, have a ruler that's not going to slip. So cork back or something on the back that stops it from slipping, because this mat, the page protectors are super slippery and it will move on you. Even with the cork, I've had it move if I'm not really pushing hard enough. So that is done. And now all I have to do is put this in here. Oops. So you just take your time sliding it in. When you get to the bottom of your flip flap, near the opening, you just pull it in. And then I always open it and make sure that, because typically my line ends up underneath the flip flap, which is great. So there it is. And now that just goes right into my book. And I am all done. So thanks so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed watching me recreating this layout, and I hope you like the shimmer brush technique. And if you want to do that yourself, just let me know. If you don't have any shimmer brushes, they are amazing and I love them. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you all sometime next week where I'm going to do some card demos, I think. Okay, bye-bye.